You made it out. You got the job. You got the salary. You got the education they said would change everything. And it did change things. Just not only for you. There is a name for what you are carrying. It has been carried quietly, for generations, by millions of people across Africa, across the diaspora, across every community where one person made it and the rest of the family followed. It is called the black tax. And before I explain what it is, let me first tell you what it feels like. It feels like payday arriving, and your phone lighting up before you have even checked your balance. It feels like doing the maths in your head at 2 in the morning, calculating how much you can send without going below zero, and realizing the answer keeps changing because the needs keep growing. It feels like loving your family deeply, completely, genuinely, with everything you have, and still feeling a heaviness that you cannot name out loud. Because naming it out loud feels like betrayal. If you have ever felt this, this video is for you. If you have ever sent money you could not afford to send because the alternative was unthinkable, this video is for you. If you have ever built a budget, made a plan, set a savings goal, and watched it dissolve under the weight of other people's emergencies, this video is for you. The black tax. Originating from South Africa, the term refers to the sometimes unspoken financial obligations placed on successful family members to support those who did not make it out. The obligations that are felt, deeply, genuinely, as a matter of love and duty, but rarely written down anywhere. It is the extra money that professionals quietly redirect every month, not toward their own savings, not toward their own future, but toward the family that is still waiting for things to change. And the numbers are not small. A 2019 study of South Africa's emerging black middle class found that 78.4% of respondents sent monthly financial transfers to family members, with the average annual amount representing roughly 18% of mean household income. 18% of everything you earn. Before your own rent. Before your own food. Before your own future. A 2025 survey in Nigeria found that 70% of income earners provide financial support to their families, with 46% doing so monthly. This is not an exception. This is the architecture of how millions of families survive. And for the one carrying it, the one who made it out, the question that never gets asked out loud is this: at what cost? It rarely begins with a conversation. Nobody sits you down and says, now that you are earning, here is your new role in this family. It begins the way most things begin in families, quietly. With love. With genuine need. It begins with a phone call. Your mother's voice. Something has come up. It is not a big amount. Just this once. And you send it. Of course you send it. Because it is your mother. Because it is not a big amount. Because you love her. And then the next call comes. And the next. And each one is genuine. Each one is real. A school fee. A hospital bill. A funeral contribution. A roof that started leaking. A sibling who needs transport to an interview. A parent whose pension was not enough this month. And before you have had a single conversation about it, before anyone has used the word obligation or expectation, you have become something new in your family. You have become the one who handles things. And the role comes with no job description. No salary review. No annual leave. No end date. Just a phone that lights up. And a heart that cannot say no. When people talk about the black tax, they almost always talk about the money. And the money is real. Remittance inflows to Africa surged from approximately $53 billion in 2010 to roughly $96 billion in 2024, and these figures capture only the formal flows. The informal transfers, the cash handed to a cousin, the mobile money sent after a late-night call about a hospital bill, remain uncounted. nearly 1 in 5 black families have zero or negative net worth. And one of the reasons, rarely named in the financial literature, is that the people who had the most potential to build wealth were quietly redirecting it back into the family system before it could compound. Instead of passing money down, saving, and investing, it gets pulled back. Because it has to. Because the family needs it. But the money, as real as it is not the deepest cost. The deeper cost is the opportunity cost. During law school, numerous internships and scholarships were available that could have furthered a career. But these opportunities often did not provide the immediate financial support the family needed. And so the choice was made: multiple jobs instead of opportunities. Working instead of building. The promotion not taken because it required relocation and you could not be that far from the people who need you. The business not started because every time you saved enough to begin, someone needed it more urgently. The retirement account that exists in theory, but has never been fully funded in practice, because the present always outweighs the future when the present belongs to people you love. And then there is the cost that nobody talks about at all. The psychological cost. The black tax is emotional labor, a duty to support your family that has transferred from guardians to the younger family members who have started working. And resentment against this situation can lead to poor mental health. The guilt when you spend money on yourself. The anxiety every time the phone rings and you do not recognize the number. The shame of being successful and still feeling like you are always behind. The loneliness of carrying something you cannot explain to your colleagues, who have never had to calculate whether they can afford their own birthday dinner after sending money home. These costs do not appear on any financial statement. But they compound. Quietly. Over years. Here is what makes the black tax so particularly heavy. You cannot talk about it. Not really. You cannot talk about it at work. Because your colleagues will not understand. Because you will sound like you are complaining about your family. Because there is already enough to navigate as the one who made it out, without adding this. You cannot talk about it at home. Not with the family. Because talking about it feels like saying you do not want to help. And you do want to help. That is the thing nobody understands: you genuinely want to help. You cannot always talk about it with your partner. Because your partner did not sign up to support your extended family. And the conversation about money and family is one of the most difficult conversations any couple can have. And so you carry it. Silently. The way your parents carried things silently. The way their parents carried things before them. The black tax is sometimes unspoken obligations thrust upon successful family members that were never negotiated, never agreed upon, and never reviewed. They were simply understood. And the silence is part of the weight. Because you cannot solve what you cannot name. You cannot negotiate what you cannot discuss. You cannot set boundaries around something that was never defined as a boundary issue in the first place. And underneath all of it, underneath the guilt and the silence and the endless calculations, is a question that the one who made it out almost never allows themselves to ask. What about me? Not as selfishness. Not as abandonment. Just, what about me? Before we go any further, I want to say something important. The black tax is not a flaw in African culture. expected of you. And because more is expected, you send more. And because you send more, you cannot save. And because you cannot save, you cannot build wealth. And because you cannot build wealth, the next generation starts the same cycle from the same place. Caring for struggling relatives raises their quality of life, but it does so at the cost of reducing personal savings for buying a home or for retirement. And it perpetuates the inequality of wealth. These professionals may also give up on their own educational opportunities, believing they need to be earning money as soon as possible. The cruelest part of the trap is this. The black tax was supposed to be how the family climbed out of poverty together. One person makes it, pulls the others up, and then together they build something that the next generation inherits. But if the one who made it out never gets to build, there is nothing to inherit. Black household wealth is on track to reach zero by 2082, not because black professionals do not earn, but because the structural forces pulling wealth out of their hands are more powerful than the wealth being built. And the black tax is one of those forces. Not because the family is wrong to need, but because the system was never designed to let one person carry everyone. Let me show you the real mathematics of the black tax. It is not just the numbers. The numbers are the easy part. The real mathematics runs like this. If I send this, I cannot pay that. If I do not send this, something happens to someone I love. If something happens and I did not send, I will carry that forever. So I send. If I say no, they will think I have forgotten where I came from. If I say no, they will call me selfish. If I say no, I will feel selfish. So I say yes. If I explain that I cannot afford it, they will not believe me. Because they know how much I earn. They just do not know how much everything costs. So I do not explain. I just send. Family members can resort to guilt-tripping to manipulate others to give more money. Within families, the black tax can lead to miscommunication or hostility when those being supported feel they are not receiving enough. If you are working, your family can easily assume you have a lot of disposable income. The mismatched expectations and what can be delivered can lead to tension between family members. And so the one who made it out runs this calculation every month, sometimes every week, sometimes every day. Not because they are weak. Not because they lack financial discipline. Because love and guilt and obligation and fear are not line items on a budget. They are forces. And they are stronger than any savings plan. So what do you do with all of this? First, you say the thing out loud. Even if only to yourself. Even if only here. I am carrying something heavy. It is real. It costs more than money. And I am allowed to acknowledge that, without it meaning I love my family any less. Because here is what nobody tells the one who made it out. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot build generational wealth from a position of permanent depletion. You cannot be the family's financial foundation if you have no financial foundation of your own. Helping your family and building your own future, these are not opposites. But they require a conversation that most families have never had. The conversation about what is sustainable. About what you can genuinely give, without destroying the thing you are trying to build. About what the family actually needs, versus what they have come to expect. It is possible to meet your financial goals and still assist within healthy boundaries. Being sacrificial will not be rewarding for your mental and financial well-being. You must set aside an emergency fund for yourself. Set aside savings. Keep some money for yourself. Once you have set aside what you need, establish what you can genuinely provide to help others. This is not greed. This is strategy. Because the only way the one who made it out can actually change the family's future is if they are still standing in 10 years. Still building. Still solvent. Still there. And a family that is supported by someone who has destroyed their own financial foundation is a family that is one crisis away from having no support at all. You are not selfish for wanting to build something of your own. You are not a bad son or daughter or sibling or cousin for needing to breathe. You are not betraying where you came from by deciding that where you are going also matters. The black tax is real. The love behind it is real. The need behind it is real. And the cost of it, the full cost, is also real. And you are allowed to acknowledge all of it at the same time. The goal is not to stop helping your family. The goal is to help them in a way that does not require you to disappear. To give in a way that is intentional. That is sustainable. That is honest, with yourself and with them, about what you have and what you do not have. And to begin, slowly, imperfectly, with many difficult conversations ahead, to build the thing that will actually end the cycle. Not a one-time transfer. Not a monthly emergency response. Generational wealth. Built deliberately. By someone who understood the cost and decided to pay it differently. Subscribe to WealthRootMind. Because in the next video, we are going to talk about the racial wealth gap. About why it exists. About what history actually did to wealth building, and what that means for anyone trying to build from a position that was deliberately made harder. That one will change how you see everything. The root of wealth is never money. It is always, always, the mind. We will see you in the next one.